Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. I'm just laying in my bunk. Not a lot of people can do a video from their bunk. Anyways, I had wanted to do a video real quick. Hi Sarah, I love you. So I did a video last night, or actually early this morning, when I was rolling, because I had you guys subscribe to the channel or whatever, you'll see the crane unload or whatever. But anyways, that's not what the video's about. You can hear my fan going in the background. I had the truck idling here in Florida. It was pretty warm. Well, warm for me. I like it really cool when I sleep. Like, even in the wintertime, I rarely idle my truck. I think I've probably got about a 30-degree cutoff where I'll just bundle up in a blanket, and then I'll get up an hour before I got to get up, and I'll start the truck up and warm it up. The conveniences of trucking, right? Anyways, so I listened to my video from early this morning, and it sounded like just a bunch of Googled nonsense. So I deleted it. I'll do another one tomorrow on it. There was a bunch of other points I didn't hit on. But anyways, so I woke up and got something to eat. I had been up for, I think I woke up 5. Excuse me. And I just coughed, and that's what the video's about. Anyways, and it's not like, oh, I'm sick or anything like that, but I just saw my headset was on. You have to pay to park here. Anyways, I'm having this cough lately. Anyways, I woke up and so I woke up I think around 5 a.m. Today is Friday the 1st. But I woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday morning, and then I had a problem with my truck, and so by the time I couldn't fix it, I had to get it into the mechanic, and by the time they finished, long story short was I was up from 5 to 5, and then I think I went to bed probably around, I don't know, 2:30 or so this afternoon, 3 o'clock. And it's however late, 9 something now, Florida time. But anyways, I got up and I got something to eat and something to drink, and I was had like this phlegm buildup or whatever, and it's annoying as shit when it's in my videos, and that's why I deleted the one from early this morning. Like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff I didn't touch on, but so I got to thinking because I was idling the truck, and so I shut the truck off and put my fan on, and I'm one of those guys that has to sleep with the fan, and so is my wife. So I figured, a lot of times when I'm laying in bed, I forget about, until like 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, oh, damn it, I was going to do a video on that. So this time I figure I'll break out the phone and do a quick video on it. But so you can hear the fan going in the background. I have this annoying ass phlegm thing going on, which is gross. But and a lot of guys, as you get older, I guess you do as well. But so I got to thinking about, I read a book called The Holocaust Diaries a few years ago, and it was about a lady who was a child during the Holocaust, and you should, if you ever get a chance, you should read it. It's pretty good. Not very long. It's a good read. And when she was a child, her parents lived during the years of the Tsars in Russia. And when the Tsars were overthrown, Russia was kind of in turmoil. But anyways, so as a child, she knew like 7 or... I don't know, my memory fades me at times with exact details. So she knew like either 7 or 11 languages as a child. And she had said in her book that there were a bunch of people that were hiding from the Nazis. And one of the ladies' babies was sick, and it was crying and coughing her. So, because she didn't want the group to be found, she covered her baby's mouth and nose and suffocated it to save the group. And it was very sad in the book. It was extremely sad, especially doing that. I mean, to any child, let alone your own child. But and I don't know why I started thinking about that. It was probably because I was coughing so much in my truck, and then listening to my video this morning. And I do smoke cigarettes, and shame on me. And I'm not a heavy smoker. I'm not a pack a day. I'm not a pack every other day. I started later in my 30s. But the phlegm doesn't come all the time. I think it's when just dry or whatever. And when you do, I mean, when you're trying to stay up, 30 some hours or whatever, and you got an all-nighter to do or whatever, and you're drinking coffee and you're having, probably one too many, like I guess when you have cocktails, but, and I know that's probably what it is. So I got to thinking, and one thing I'm not justifying smoking, but anyways, it's not something I definitely have to get away from, but I'm not that roll out of bed kind of smoker guy. Smoking is so obnoxious, especially in the morning when you wake up. I had some drivers I was training, and they would wake up and roll right out of bed and sit in the pilot's or the shotgun seat, and they would light up right away, and I'm like, oh my God, it was disgusting, but the habit as a whole is very disgusting. And especially once all this stuff happens, it's one of the things that's you're gonna have to wait. I literally can go 2 days without a cigarette, so I don't even know why. I guess it's more of a convenience thing, and it's more of a coffee in the morning kind of thing. I have to be up for several hours before I can even have one. Once again, I'm not justifying it. I guess I probably kind of am, because people look at people that smoke as, wow, that's disgusting, and it really is. So, as I was thinking about the Holocaust Diaries, I was like, wow, can you imagine being... So, like I said, you can hear the fan going in the background. I sleep with a CPAP, and not because I smoke. It's because I have a big neck, and I used to work out, and I guess I'm a bigger guy. Because bigger people have problems breathing when they sleep. Anyways, even in the best shape of my life, I had CPAP, according to my doctor and my family and everything. But some of the things you're going to have to go without when this happens is a CPAP, power, a running fan, the convenience of air conditioning, right? And excuse me, see, that's what I mean. So, and I know I say so a lot. That's another thing I really gotta be cognizant of. And I almost said it again. And then I'm gonna back it up with But if you think about things, think about the conveniences that you're gonna have to live without, and think of alternatives to those. Like I've had to sleep in my truck a few times without a CPAP. There I go again. Come on, Kurt. If you can start going, or when I slept without a CPAP, I would literally sleep on my side, and I would prop my head it kind of, imagine if you were laying or standing up, and you're looking up at the sky with your head tilted all the way back. That's how I try to sleep if I don't have a CPAP to open my airway. If you think about an alternative to your, I guess, comforts or conveniences, that's probably the best way to be. If you are a roll out of bed and need a coffee person, if you're a roll out of bed and need a cigarette person, if you're a roll out of bed and whatever the case may be, try to think of an alternative to that convenience or that necessity. Because and I have buddies that literally wake up, and I think it's an old man thing too, because they don't smoke or anything. They will get up and just make all kinds of, and I always tell my wife Sarah when I'm in a lot of, like I said, obviously, if you watch my videos, you know I had a parachute malfunction, whatever, so I have ailments, ruptured L3, L4, L5, and torn rotator cuffs, and pinched nerve in my neck, and blah, blah, blah. When I'm working at the shop, or I'm tarping or chaining or strapping a load, you get a lot of, and that thing you're looking at my windshield is the paid parking receipt. I don't normally just sleep with a piece of paper taped to my windshield. I'm always, especially if you're really sore, right? You're kind of making, when you're getting up, or yawning real loud. I have some buddies that are real loud yawners, which is very, very annoying to me. And I don't do that. If you are a hacker or a cougher or a sneezer, if you have allergies, whatever the case may be, and that's why I wanted to do a video on this, because it's very annoying, especially that's why I deleted my video. And when I was kind of coughing up some, and I know it's completely gross, but hey, we're all adults here, right? And I started saying to myself, and like I said, I started thinking about the Holocaust Diaries and that lady having to literally kill her child, suffocate it. I couldn't even imagine that. And these are the things that I think about in my truck, which is really weird. But as you're going through these different scenarios, excuse me, and these are literally things that you have to think about. If you're not thinking of these things, once again, you're not taking this serious. You have to literally live, eat, sleep, drink, basically exist in life thinking about what could, and Sarah always says, my mind's always going. And when I start thinking, she says, one time I was working on some lights on a trailer, and we had to go. We were going down to Houston. This a few years ago. We went down to Houston for New Year's Eve. It wasn't our plan. We had bought a car down there, and she drove it back on her own. But we had to get going. And so I was troubleshooting some lights on the trailer, and like I said, I've learned a lot of things on my own, but the video's not about, hey, Kurt, you're an awesome dude. You can figure out so much stuff. You're so cool. I'm always thinking, and she said when she was watching me, and I was like, so if you do this, and long story short, I talk out loud when I try to figure things out. You can't do that if you're trying to do noise and light discipline. And that's another reason why I'm doing it kind of in the dark. Because you won't have, when this happens, you won't be able just to break out a flashlight and start looking for your key, or your keys. You won't even really be looking for your keys. You won't be able to look for an essential item. And that's why if you look at military flashlights, they have a red lens on them. You have a red and a clear lens. So a red light is tactical. You still don't want to use any kind of light. In our unit, we couldn't just, we slept, if you look back at my videos, we slept in regular, we didn't use tents. We were a light infantry unit, so we would jump in everywhere and hump. We didn't get, if we were getting trucked into a range or something like that, yeah, or if you were going a long distance after your mission or whatever, they'd put you on deuce and a halves and go get you some hot shower or something. But the point being is you won't be able to use light to look for your items. You won't be able to talk loud. You won't be able to, if you're talking about a security scenario. If you're talking about everyday life scenario, yeah, sure, go ahead. I gotta get that windshield replaced. We just had 2 new windshields put in this truck, and literally a week after we got it in, I was in Phoenix, and guy kicked up a rock and cracked the windshield that early. And that happens all the time in trucking. If you think about, for instance, shut off your lights in your house one night, and try to maneuver around it. And I'm just, I go through these scenarios in my head. And Sarah says, I'm always thinking, I can figure out pretty much anything. And of course she's biased because she's my wife. And that's why I love her so much. And she can figure out so much as well. And you listening to this video can figure out so much as well, I'm sure. Turn off the lights in your house one night and try to maneuver in the dark. Try to go and look for things, whatever the case is. Maybe start, I can maneuver in the dark pretty well, actually. That's what she said. Just kidding. I do it a lot. Remember one time when I was out in South Dakota and I was picking up in the middle of nowhere and I was going down to, it was either South Dakota, I think it was Wyoming. I think it was Wyoming. And it was in the fall or winter time. And I was coming down here to Florida and I was picking up at a refinery plant. It was a 24-hour facility. And it was in the middle of literally nowhere, way out in the wilderness. And that's where they have this. It was a monitoring site. It wasn't a refinery site. It was a monitoring site for like methane gas or something like that. And they were removing one of their pumps or machines, and they were bringing it down here to Florida. So they already had it all disassembled, and that's what I love about trucking. You get to do so many different cool things. Every day is never the same, which I love. I couldn't do the factory thing or the office thing. Trucking, and it's a sacrifice. And your wife or your significant other and your family definitely have to compromise, and they sacrifice a lot as well. So you either love this job or you hate it. There really is no in between, and I love it. So there you go again. This video, I've been thinking about things before I say stuff. As you can see, I'm talking a lot. I'm a fast talker. I've been trying to not say so much on this video. I'm out at this plant picking up, and it's dark now, and I have to tarp the load. So I'm hearing, and there's I'm in the wilderness, right? This place in the middle of nowhere, and I hear this rustling, and I'm like, what the hell? And I got a headlamp on. I'm sorry, I didn't have a headlamp, but I had a really big flashlight in my truck. I was a newer driver then. And it sounds like it's an animal. It's kind of huffing and puffing with it, but I hear it not like really loud, but you can hear it's like an animal. And I'm like, what the hell? And I can hear it kind of in a 360 circle around me. And so I go inside the building because these guys, one one or two guys have to be there 24 hours a day, every day, to monitor this place. And there's 3 of them in there at this particular time, probably to get it loaded and all that kind of stuff. So they're talking, and I go in there, I'm like, hey man, is there like an animal around here? He goes, oh yeah, there's a black bear around here. I'm like, oh, you hear the bear out there? I'm like, oh man, come on. So I would hurry up and put a couple bungees on, and it was still out there. And I didn't carry a gun in my truck then, so I had this big pole bar. And anyways, so that was interesting. And then another time with a cougar, there was a driver that. It's really. You really have to be. Your decisions in trucking have to be very calculated. Excuse me. If you are. Now I forgot. God, and that's something I forget my train of thought. Walk around your home or your business or whatever and know where things are, but most of all, get yourself used to not always going to a light or a candle or whatever the case is, because you won't have that convenience when this stuff happens. If you have the people, and I'll go back to my story about when I'm at the shop or I'm tarping and strapping in, you make them old man noises. I'm not a loud yawner, and I'm not a very obnoxious guy. I mean, I can be obnoxious like anybody else, and I'm a very loud person when I talk. These are things you have to be very conscious of and stop doing. Stop making your old man, and Sarah will ask me, and I'll grunt a little bit if I can get up or something. And the shop is a lot of work. I mean, Sarah could put in the comments, she called it the Sibylla Boot Camp, or the shop boot camp. Anyways, if you make a lot of noises, if you're a person that needs to find something always with a light on, if you're a person that hacks up in the morning or has allergies, I mean, I have allergies. They haven't, knock on wood, they haven't been so bad lately, in the last few years, which is really awesome. If you're a person that needs to smoke in the morning, which thank God I'm not. If you're a person that needs something every morning as a regimen or as a routine, maybe try a day or two without going for the one thing. It's maybe, I wouldn't say start weaning yourself out, because this stuff is happening, and it's happening very soon. You might want to start practicing not having one of your conveniences in the morning or night, or some people like ice cream every night. That's their thing. Some people like this, some people like that. Whatever the case is, see if you can turn off your lights and go without it. Not have the fan on one night. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do without my CPAP machine. If anybody has any ideas, I'd be open to them. Like I said, that's how I have to sleep if I don't have my CPAP, is I have to literally look all the way, like cock my head all the way back, like I'm looking up at the sky to open my airways. And another thing, if you're a huge snorer and if you're in a home or something like that, it's not that big. But if you're, say for instance, you're out in the woods and you got a guy that will literally, and I could be that guy. I don't snore because I wear a CPAP, but I've been told if I don't have a CPAP, I'm a pretty loud snorer. What are we going to do? So you have to, there you go. Wow, so I haven't said so that much in this video. I'm proud of myself. If you think about the things now and have a solution when all this break, because it's coming. It's coming. We all know it's coming. We all know it's coming. And this isn't like Christopher Green that says, oh, I've been talking about this for 10 or 12 years. That anybody can talk about this stuff for a very long time and say, see, I told you 20 years ago that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time before this happens. This isn't like, oh, I've been prophesying for this for so long, and it came in fruition when all of a sudden, I told you it was coming. Well, yeah, I mean, if you play the slots for so long at the casino, eventually you're going to win. I wouldn't call this a win. But if you play, lottery tickets, eventually you're going to win. I told you I would win one day, but you didn't win the big lottery. You didn't win the 150 million one. But yet you tell people, I've been talking about this for 15 years. I told you it was going to happen. No, you didn't know nothing. Christopher Green, you're full of shit. I mean, the guy has some good points on there. I don't want to vent. I'm sorry. If you knock on a door as a salesman, eventually you're going to get a sale. But tell me which house you're going to get the sale at. I'm going to get a sale right now for $200 or $5,000 from this customer. I'm going to go knock on the door and I'm going to make a sale right now. There are salesmen out there that can do that. Christopher Green is not one of them. He's a salesman, all right, but he's not. I mean, he does some good stuff, but all of his, I've predicted that. He talked about how Clinton was going to be running for president, and then when somebody had mentioned it, and I told you she's going to run for president, and then all of a sudden she didn't, and then all of a sudden there goes Mr. Green's prediction or date or whatever the case is. And you can make dates on this thing all you want. All I know is this is coming. As you guys know, it's coming. We don't know what date. It's coming very, very soon, unfortunately. I mean, elections coming. We've already talked about the Biden and the Clinton thing, but I'll do another video on that tomorrow. Like I said, I listened to my video this morning from early, or this afternoon from early this morning, or earlier this morning from earlier this morning. When I heard it, I was like, oh my God, you want to talk about gibberish. And I was just trying to stay awake in my own defense. So back to the point of the video. If like I said, when you're thinking about this stuff, always think about it with a power off, grid down situation. Always think no power, because if you think no power, you will be the best prepared. And this right now could be, we could have all the preparations in the world, and the very first day I lose it and just commit suicide. Whatever. You never know how bad it's going to get. I'm not saying that, we're going to be, of course you want to go into this with being positive and saying, well, yeah, maybe this. I look at it like this, and like I tell a lot of other people, when this happens, things could go south so fast. Within the first day or two or first week, you're done. You're just what. I look at it like this, however. At least I will put up a day or two resistance. I will also choose the way that my wife and I die. And I'm not trying to be that doomsday guy, but at least I can create the way that I want to die under my own terms. I don't want to say that we are going to die, but if you do the math on it, the numbers don't fare very well for all of us. And I'm not being that negative Nancy guy, but however, if you plan for the worst, if you plan for the worst or hope for the best and plan for the worst, is that what it is, or vice versa? Then things will be good. Don't build yourself up to the point where don't be one of those parents that tells your kid when they're a horrible freaking singer, man, you can go to American Idol, man, you're the best singer ever. We've seen those American Idol videos. They're horrible. Then they got parents and people behind them saying, man, you are the next Rihanna or whoever your favorite artist is. You're the next so-and-so, but you're freaking horrible at it. And people will give them false hope. Don't give yourself false hope. Please don't give yourself false hope. On the flip side of that, when and if we all do die a free person. And die under your own terms. What if you're a believer like I am and my wife is and her family are and some of our friends, some of my true brothers, there is a holy land that we're going to go to. And that's all I can say. I won't make it biblical, make it critical. So if you start practicing these things now, when it happens, you'll be better prepared. And again, I mean, you can't, even if you're bugging in and your house is here, you don't, you're going to have to cover windows and so on and this and that and everything else. And, maybe we'll go over some stuff on where to do your, if you are bugging in and you have to retreat to a different location, and if you have to go to a different fighting position, whatever. I mean, if you have any questions, I mean, there's also a lot of tactical channels I'm sure you could probably look up. I'm probably not. I know what I can do in our area. I don't know what your area is like or whatever, wherever you live, but if you think about it, there's a lot of this stuff is really just common sense. Would you, if your wife were sleeping or your husband were sleeping or your child was sleeping and you needed to go into the bedroom to get something, would you just turn on the light and go in there and slam the door and slam your dresser? No, of course not. You're going to go in there very quietly and you're going to get what you need to get, and you're going to creep back out as quiet as possible with no lights. These are the things you have to think. And these are things that they teach you in the military and so on and so on and so on. It's really just common sense. If you're playing hide and seek, do you want to be loud and obnoxious and seen? No. You want to be the opposite of that. When you're moving in the woods at night, I mean, you're trying not to really move if you don't have to, because you can hear a lot of things clearer at night. You can hear twigs snapping and leaves rustling, and you can just hear it out there. So take some time, read the Holocaust Diaries. It's a good book. And this lady, her family her whole family were murdered. And she talks about, this and that, and no, her husband, when she passed, this is when the Holocaust Diaries actually was after she passed, her husband was going in the attic. I don't want to give it away. Anyways, you should read the book, and it's really good. It's really good. But there's sadness to it, unfortunately. Hence the name Holocaust Diaries, right? If you If you are smart about things, you will be okay. We'll all be okay. But we have to think and we have to organize. And if you want to call me, 414-477-7845. Email is timemachinetransport, the number 1 at gmail.com. Time, T-I-M-E. Timemachinetransport, the number 1 at gmail.com. We have to we have to prepare. We have to be stronger. I hope the video was somewhat helpful. If you are that hacker in the morning or sneezer or loud person, if you need certain things in the evening or in the morning or whatever the case is, start doing it now so you won't be as miserable when this happens, is the point. And you'll know how to kind of curve it a little bit when it happens. Try to, or practice now. Right? I'm done with the video for tonight. I'm going back to bed. I'm tired. And sir, I love you. I hope this video finds you guys well. If you like the video and like the content, please subscribe and leave a comment. Call me, and let's see if we can organize more people. We are getting calls, which is awesome. Don't be afraid to call. We need to definitely organize and be together as a people. Anyways, I hope it finds you well. God bless. Ciao.